And welcome to our panel, Jordan, a case study in sustainable growth. Though small in size, Jordan serves as a global model in how to build local production capacity and capabilities to secure a long-term future as a sustainable storytelling hub. So this panel gathers some of the country's key players in that success story to share their insights and discuss what comes next in that growth journey. Okay, I'm going to introduce my panelists. And I hope I'm going to pronounce your names correctly, and forgive me if I don't. I have Mohannad Bakri, who's the managing director of RFC, here. Thank you. I have Rula Nasser, Jordanian producer. I have Jacob Jarek, producer. The lovely Saba Mubarak, actress and producer. Shahinaz Akkad, producer. And last but certainly not least, director, writer, and producer, Bassel Ghandour.
You did well. All perfect.
Thank you. Okay, so Mohannad, before we start, I think we're going to see the sizzle reel for the RFC. Let's roll the clip, please. Okay, so what's clear here is that Jordan is a standout location in the region, and not just a location, a film commission with infrastructure, and they most recently welcomed a massive Hollywood production, which is Dune 2. Just, you know, in terms of just in general terms, could you give us an overview of of the infrastructure aspect and the location aspect of Jordan at the moment?
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad that we're here in Cannes talking about Jordan and specifically focusing as a case study. Jordan, for the past 20 years, has been working hard on developing the infrastructure of the film industry through the programs that we do at the Royal Film Commission, whether those are programs technical or creative, and giving the opportunities for the Jordanians to tell their stories. Not only that, but also work on the regional level where we can either work with the region on training programs or co-productions, which we're seeing more nowadays. The focus that we started with is the capacity building. And, Jordan has few film institutes, but still needs lots of development. So through what we developed and worked on, made what we can see now having in Jordan and around the world, Jordanian filmmakers competing in festivals, international productions, and the infrastructure of those systems for the international productions became an attractive for Jordan. We're talking about big productions such as you just mentioned now, Dune 1, Dune 2, Aladdin, Star Wars, All the Money in the World, and lots of more of those productions. So, and also having the local crew being part of the international production also strengthens more the capacity in an indirect way, being part of this. Big productions now are coming with their heads of departments, but most of what we have are the local Jordanian crew.
Absolutely. I think that's obviously a key aspect. And I know, Jordanian crew is so good that they work outside of Jordan as well. So you have depth of crew, you have studio, you have amazing locations, and you have an organic system that is nurturing the industry. You're attracting international productions, but of course, the ultimate goal is to nurture the local industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to mention one element. When we talk about the infrastructure, this is a system that is supported by the government on a very high level. We have clear a system for any production, whether local or international, coming to Jordan, and the procedures of it are making it easy for everybody.
Okay, so the red tape is minimal. The incentive.
No red tape.
Okay.
No red tape.
No red tape. Good incentives, depth of crew, and the locations are not just desert. Okay, tell us a little more about the variety of locations that you get.
Jordan is considered as a small country with a diverse locations. If you look at Jordan borders from the northern part of Syria all the way to Saudi Arabia, you can commune and cross the country in 5 hours. This is a very important element. Jordan played in films with so many backgrounds of countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Iran, of course, Iran, and of course the big productions such as the March, sorry, and this gives it also a specific and very unique location with sustainable system also. Yeah.
Okay. So So yeah, I think we've covered some of the basic elements of what's there. Rula, let's get into a bit more of the nitty gritty from a producer's perspective. Okay, as a pioneering producer in Jordan, as a pillar in a way of the of fostering the industry in Jordan, both in terms of having the production capabilities, but also the creative side. What do you consider to be right now? What have you accomplished, and what would you like to accomplish? Let's say,
from the creative side and not the production. I think what we did for the last 15, 20 years with the support also with the Film Commission is big, because now. It's okay. Okay. It's okay. No. Because now we have the full cycle, almost the full cycle. We have the great infrastructure that serves the productions. We are working hand in hand with the Film Commission, with their support on talents, and we started to see Jordanian films traveling in festivals. We have now a sound stage, and we have a film festival. So the whole cycle is kind of completing each other. The last 5-6 years, with the limitation of the finance and the population in Jordan, because we are only a country of 7 million or 8 million, 10 million with all the refugees. It's not exposing a lot of talent. So this is taking us for a time to develop a project. But what we achieved for the last 6 years, we have a mark of a Jordanian cinema on the international map. And this is our basic goal. We want to continue. We want to make more films. And we want to be also on platforms, it's our main, let's say, away from the cinema. The TV is a challenge for us as Jordanians. So this is the goal that I personally working on it at this point.
Well, there has been, of course, the instance of Al Rawabi School for Girls with Netflix. So, I mean, that is something that has been accomplished as well. Okay.
This is one TV series that is produced over 4 years, but we want to see more. The basic challenge is the audience for the Jordanian content, and this is why we are trying to bridge to be regional. I finished a project last year, the year before. It was a co-production between Jordan and Saudi Arabia. The project were made with the muscles of the Jordanians, shot between Jordan and Saudi Arabia, and with a director who's an Egyptian, okay, with a very Saudi and cast Saudi. So this is what we are aiming, is to enlarge our audience as a region who speaks the same language.
Of course. Okay. Is there anything else that you think, like, what would be your goal, let's say, if you had to set a goal for the next 5 years?
Another 5 Jordanian films.
Okay.
Only?
With Bassel.
Jacob, okay. So what has your experience been working in Jordan? And I know that you shot Holy Spider there, where, of course, it was doubling for Iran. So that's one instance in which the country doubled for Iran. How do what's your experience been, basically? I think that would be the question.
Well, I think we started by the film Holy Spider is based in Mashhad in Iran in the early 2000s. So it's a fairly critical film of the regime. So we knew we couldn't film in Iran, and we had to find another location. And we quickly, one of the first locations we went to was Jordan, and mostly it was because of the nature and the desert-like cityscapes and feeling. And when we went there 2 or 3 times, I think, before eventually deciding. I think we had an initial thought that we're gonna shoot more exteriors or get like the environment, and then maybe for everything else we'll go somewhere else. But when we got to Jordan, we realized like there's a big diversity in like towns, cities, buildings, like homes. It was relatively easy to get access to through Rula, see everything, and we kind of found out that we could do everything here, recreate even the shrine in Mashhad and big stuff. So it was a good experience. The crews are used to catering to international films, although we were a much smaller film than Dune or these films you mentioned. So overall, it was a great experience.
Okay. Is there anything that you would advise in terms of to producers coming to produce in Jordan? Is there any tips that you would have for them?
I would say, find the right local producer to work with. There are good HODs down there. Normally, you think, or sometimes you have the view when you come in as a foreign production that you bring all the HODs and then everything else is done by the service producer. I think it would be good to go in with an open mind. Also, there's so much good stuff happening. Also, maybe there's co-production possibilities and not only service possibilities. I mean, it seems new things are happening every year, so just about staying updated.
Okay. So yeah, I think that the takeaway here, both from you and from you, is keep in mind that you have good crew there, and even at a head of departments level, and you don't need to bring too much from outside. And I think also there's a lot of cooperation in terms of permits, in terms of extending, being very really kind of extending a helping hand on anything that needs to be done. I know even logistically there have been huge efforts that have been made. So yeah, I think,
Yeah, I think when Holy Spider we were 7-8 people coming from abroad, and the rest was pure Jordanian. And they work together, they know how to work together, so you can kind of use or kind of be part of that smooth, organic way of working,
Also, what's amazing with the Holy Spider, Jacob can tell you stories that we went to all kind of places. We shot in refugee camps, we stopped roundabouts. When I was approached by Jacob, first scout, we said, this is the frame. We will not see anything because it's a serial killer moving at night, so we easily can duplicate Mashhad. And then the frame become larger and larger and larger. And we were in refugee camps shooting a serial killer on a motorbike.
Yes.
And it was in Corona. So we had
During
an
the
amazing
pandemic.
time together.
I felt I was making a Christopher Nolan movie, because although the budget was like the catering budget of a Christopher Nolan movie, but we could shut down the city in the night. It was great.
Okay, terrific. Saba, over to you. Both as an actress and a producer, Rula touched on the Pan-Arabic aspect. Okay, I think that's a key aspect. Are you seeing that opportunity in Jordan through the movies that you've starred in and produced there? Could it be a hub for that, for kind of fostering Pan-Arabic, the creation of Pan-Arabic cinema?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, definitely. I think Jordan could be a great hub with a diversity of location, with the amazing HODs and the crew and talents as well. I think more or less now we see talents moving around as opposed to the other way around. And this is one of our challenges. I mean, early on, a Jordanian talent needs to learn how to adapt, how to learn different dialects and accents, and be ready to travel the world to shine and thrive and create a success story, more or less. But I think Jordan has a huge potential, and I think there is still way more to explore there. And I think, welcoming foreign projects to come and film in Jordan is one thing. And then, as Rula said, having more Jordanian projects that travel the world, not only in the film festival, but only on the commercial aspects, on networks and cinemas, is a different challenge that we are all working on so hard. We are still an industry of individuals and companies created by individuals. I cannot call what's happening in Jordan as a big industry. We still need lots of governmental support, lots of understanding that this industry can generate revenue, generate work opportunities for the locals, and the environment to make the Jordanian talents thrive and succeed.
Now, in terms of the environment, are there specific, let's call them training opportunities for talents, for actors and actresses? Are there schools? Are there provisions made for, to try and encourage productions that come to Jordan to include Jordanian talents in the productions?
I'm going to be the bad guy here. No, we don't have that much. I know we have film schools, and I know there is university that has divisions that teach acting, directing. I studied in one of these, but we still lack really high caliber schools. I know RFC are working on so many training programs, and they generated well-educated intellectual talents from the young generation. But no, we don't have that structure. I think we have talented people who, by experience, work on films, work with foreign productions, work with talented producers like Rula, and from that point on, they start, or the ones that travel, and I'm one of these.
Of course.
But I want to add something.
Yes.
Saba is
Please.
more on the creative, not on the hands-on of the production. Now, and we witnessed that even with Holy Spider, with a lot of projects. Part of the incentives that Jordan is affording is internship. So with each rebate, with each contract, we are training 20 people. Yes. And those 20 people, over 2 or 3 projects, they become a crew. So we have the cycle of creating the industry. Which is she mentioning maybe or on the creative. We are still missing programs for the actors. We are always fostering programs for the writing. But on the machine production, I think it's working very well. This is why we're exporting a lot of talents abroad.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
Also, I want to mention that currently the Film Commission is developing a cinema academy for 2 years through one of the local universities, the German university, and this will take the industry up more to another level.
Okay. Now, I'm just curious on the subject of Pan-Arabic. Obviously, the accent is very important. How do you navigate that? Is there a standard Arabic accent, or is it good to have different accents? How does that work?
No, the Arabic accents are very different from each other, really different. Some Arabs do not even understand each other.
But when you go on screen, do you have to homogenize it?
I think you either have that talent or not, but you need also a lot of training and to stay in the country that you're working in and to talk to people. And I think the beauty of our Jordanian accent is that it is very white, it's very simple, and it's easy for us to basically speak Egyptian, Lebanese, all these other different accents.
Okay, so it's a good basis from which to then modulate, let's say. Okay, lovely. Shahinaz, you've produced quite a few Jordanian films as an Egyptian producer.
Distributed.
There have been co-productions, as I understand it, between Egypt and Jordan. Can you talk to us about that experience? Yeah, you know, the movies are Inshallah, A Boy, Daughters of Abdullah Rahman. Yeah.
The alleys.
The alleys.
And the alleys, of course. Forgive me. Okay.
Okay, we are too much alike than we think. And as for the Jordanian movie, it's becoming popular because they are telling stories that they are both traditional and modern. For my experience, it's a movie. It's a movie, يعني. This is from my beginning, and I learned a lot from Daughters and from the alley, from working with Rula and Saba. It's for me, it's more or less the same. And it always has a collaboration between Arab talents since the black and white era. It's not a new thing. And I'm always excited to do more films and to always support the Jordanian cinema.
We have so many Jordanians. We're gonna take you for this, huh?
Will queue here.
More and more.
And I'm happy for doing this.
And in terms of the actual co-production treaty, the paperwork, all of that, it works well. It's well structured. Just as a producer, you know, and the practical aspects of co-producing with Jordan are easy to navigate.
Yes, of course. It's like I'm doing an Egyptian film. It's almost the same.
Okay, okay.
But
Terrific.
we don't have a co-production treaty. We do co-production between countries.
Okay.
And the whole idea is how to open an audience in the Pan-Arab. We always also work on distribution with Shahinaz, which is we are trying to send our Jordanian films to Egypt. Same what we are trying to do with the KSA now. Same what we did with the UAE. But this is one of the very important. We work on two different modules. One is distribution and one is co-production in terms of talents and content.
Okay, terrific. Now, on to you, Bassel. And before we talk about the alleys, let's talk about Thebe. You are a man of many hats. You're a producer, you're a writer, you're a director. I would like to know, just from your perspective, you know, Thebe is really considered a milestone, you know, in terms of genre, in terms of the visibility it got. But even just from a production standpoint, how was that experience?
Well, Thebe was an interesting time in the Jordanian film industry. We weren't quite as nascent as, I don't know, the late, maybe 2008, 2009, when the first big production started to come to Jordan. So when we started shooting, we were shooting about 2012. The core group spent a year in Wadi Rum sort of developing the story and really driven by a naive hope that, you know, we were going to get this film made. And the thing that really made the film happen comes partly from the crew's experience on these international productions that delivered on the quality that we needed when we ourselves weren't experienced. The biggest challenge was getting them to believe in a first-time director, first-time producers, non-actors. You know, we were doing acting workshops in the desert for about 8 months, and we knew nothing about acting workshops. So, you know, it was about bringing in people who knew the more technical side, who were able to deliver on the quality. And I think now it's a different time from when Rula was also just getting a bunch of productions going at the time, and the original Jordanian crew, I think,
It was easier with the alleys.
Was it? I don't know. Different challenges. But I think because I mean sustainability is a theme here. I think what we see is success stories like Rula, for example, who has gone on to keep producing and developing local content while also supporting regional content, while also servicing international content, and nurturing younger talents below her. So this is an example of sustainability. Rula is, she's she, exemplifies that. And but she's not alone. There are others and so the industry has grown from this small crew into sort of, let's say, various heads who themselves nurture more. Thankfully, partly because of the lack of red tape and the local support. But yeah.
Well, I think it's a movie that really is considered a milestone. But I never considered the fact that you mentioned at the beginning when you said that, the production values are so amazing because the crew had, I think this is what you were saying, had cut their teeth on so many Western movies that, and the definition of theme, which I don't know if you agree with, is a Bedouin Western. And, but so it's very interesting to see that how it kind of morphed, from gaining the know-how, let's say, from these, Western productions coming to, and then incorporating that into making a local production. It's a really fascinating, case study in itself, actually. Now, instead, moving on to the alleys, which I know is closer in a way because you're obviously the director, the writer, the director. Just in general terms, can you talk to me a bit about that?
Well, yeah, so the alleys happened, let's say, with a different generation of filmmakers in Jordan. So the challenges were quite different. We didn't have the naivety we had when we were all starting that era. So there was a bit more jadedness. So we knew what we were going to face when it came to production, and so there was a certain maturity in which we approached productions with. And again, at the core of it is the crew who now cut their teeth on now many more films, were able to deliver on the production value and the quality. As far as challenges, I wouldn't think any different from any other country that services productions that are not on a studio but location. Mm-hmm. So there's that. But beyond, specifically with the alleys, I think one of the problems we had was creatively, we didn't appeal to European co-productions. This didn't fit the European gaze of what an Arab film should look like. Same with festivals. So, European co-financing usually comes with a particular type of film. And I think the sign of a healthy industry is having these types of films, which are great, that make it out in the festivals, but also being able to create something more commercial, something for us, made for us. If it travels, wonderful. But at the heart of it, these are productions and films that we want to watch ourselves. This is what we grow up dreaming of making. So part of the challenge there comes as far as making sure that writers are able to write these kind of materials and not exclusively relying on European finance. And then on the tail end of that is making sure that there is competition in the distribution so that the creatives benefit from this, so that it's not just the Netflix, it's not just NBC. We need more, and I don't know where that, thankfully, Mad Solutions, Ala and Maher, they're putting money into these films and making it work in a way that doesn't exclusively rely on the old model of financing. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, Rula, tell me if you agree, I would say that there has been this transition, though, which he just referred to, where you don't have to cater to the Western gaze, let's call it, and you don't necessarily have to rely on their financing either. You're starting to be able to be more self-sufficient economically and creatively. Does that make sense?
Jordan by itself, it's different. Now we are so happy that Saudi Arabia opened now. There is a lot of screens in Saudi Arabia, which is, for example, this year, we had Goodbye Julia, the Sudanese film that did an amazing record in the Saudi's screens. And this is give us another module. You can go with a module with the European, but also this is what I mentioned, that we need to work together on the regional because we speak the same language. It's much easier for me to have the allies in Saudi Arabia, and we didn't make any numbers at that time, but honestly, on the viewing on the platforms, for example, it was more on an Arab. The statistics show that we reached with this genre to a lot of the population in the Arab world. So this is the hope, how we can, Jordan by itself, it can sustain. Okay, it's the number of the screens, the funding, the expenses of cinema. There is no private TVs or platforms. We only have the local TV. So we need to expand on that side as well. And I think this is what we are trying all the time, to try to cooperate with the neighborhood countries who speaks the same language and who are looking for commercial products from our side.
And if I can add to that really quick, it also, the sign of a healthy film industry is a film industry that has a diversity in the types of production that come out of there. So you have the commercial, you have the festival, but you have even in between and even further. Also with the dehumanization that has happened to, we can talk about Arabs generally, but Palestinians specifically, that comes from building a particular narrative, mostly in the West, that draws the Arab as either a victim or as angry, violent, and we deserve to have a much more three-dimensional representation on screen, on TV, go out into the world, and that's why it's essential to have us export our films to each other, but then beyond that, and so that we have a diversity of the types of stories that we put out there.
Okay, terrific. I think in conclusion, I think what we can say is that it's a small country, but it's a very healthy ecosystem that has now added a festival to its range of elements, and it's sort of at the forefront, of fostering Arab productions, again, both creatively and just in industry terms. And with that, I think I'm going to open it up to any questions, if there are any questions from the audience.
Before the questions, I just want to mention one quick element. The new baby that we have now in Jordan is the Olivewood Studios. This is also a very important step for Jordan, not only for the foreign production coming in and using the studios, but also to nurture Arab and Jordanian. This studio is on a very high level, and we're aiming to really, as everybody's saying, is to offer it to the Arabs in the Arab region. So I wanted to say this. We have the chairman of the studio here with us. Yeah.
Okay, terrific. Yeah, we have a state-of-the-art studio, which of course is an important driver. Okay. Do we have any questions? Okay. All right. Oh, there's a question over there. Okay. Do we have a microphone? I can give you my microphone if you want it. Okay. Gentleman over there. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. My name is Karl Haupt. I'm a producer in Florida and in Germany. I've got a project which is set in the Middle East, and I've been to Jeddah, to the film festival. I've been to Dubai and several other places, trying to raise funding for my project, which is rather epic in scale. And I've been in touch with many, many producers in the process of trying to get this on the road. My question to you is, why am I not getting any responses back? I send out all the material. I've been trying to get people on the phone. I've been trying to do just about everything. Everything you mentioned, by the way, from MUD over the Dubai Film Fund, Image Nation, I don't know what. I covered the entire ground. What am I doing wrong?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to answer that, but I mean, it sounds as though it's a question that maybe you need to ask on a one-on-one basis. But I think the companies that you mentioned are two companies. I mean, I wouldn't know what to say, frankly. Do you want to say something?
I also don't have a specific answer, but the examples that we've had before is the international co-production. Jordan has two co-production treaties, one with Canada, one with Belgium. And usually productions coming from abroad, they either approach those funds within those countries that I mentioned, and this can be a very good start for a seed money to move on, and I'm sure that you know this. And also, I don't know, Jordan doesn't have this privilege similar to other countries, neighboring countries, in terms of funding, but we do have incentives. We do have as I mentioned, the infrastructure.
Ala.
I have a question, actually, for the Jordanian gang mainly, because how do you see how the society changed since you started? I remember Saba with the transit cities in Dubai, Rula, how you started with Royal Film Commission, Mohannad, you worked directly on schools, I mean from the scratch, Bassel before the something changed, because when we look now into the Jordanian cinema, it's really surprising, just very few films, but it's giving the super big picture of the Jordan, starting from Deeb, Daughters of Abdurrahman, the Alleys. Yesterday there was an announcement of an international production with Jordanian director as well, Murad Abu Aisha, with a big Canadian producer. What it changed since you started till now, whether society or the industry itself, that you believe it's possible actually, starting with transit cities and then with Daughters of Abdurrahman, for example, with many audience awards?
I can tell you two major points. The first point is the belief of the film industry, and through the decision makers, especially the government, the support that we're getting from the government and the leadership of the Film Commission is beyond what we wanted, and this was one thing. And the second thing, first of all, most of the people who are sitting here from Jordan, it's passion. Passion is so important, and people are always looking at where is their next step to achieve another project. Each of them are full of passion, wanted to tell the stories of Jordan, the Arab region, or humanity.
I think I totally agree with you, Mohannad. I just remembered the first time I started. It was my first feature in Jordan as an actress, and it was with Rula. It was your first film, right? And such a journey. It was a very small film that all of a sudden traveled the world. Won tremendous amount of awards and recognition.
What's the film?
Transit Cities.
Okay.
And starting that point, I mean, at least for me as an actress/producer, it became an obsession that regardless if I go to different countries and different regions and different cultures, I always want to come back and sort of work in the society in Jordan, because there's a lot of stories to tell and there's lots of talents and creative people in this industry. There's great work ethics. The progression of the industry within the past 10 years is unreal. And that is the key evidence of why we're here today and why we are discussing not only films that travel the festivals, but artistic films or commercial films with an artistic twist where it can also reach the audience, which is very important. For me, as an artist, I want to reach the audience. I want people to watch my films. And I want it to be simple and enjoyable and a nice experience for them. And I want them to be encouraged always to buy the next ticket to see another Jordanian film. And I think this is what all of us are working hardly on achieving.
Rula, do you want to add anything to that?
No, they said everything.
Okay. All right. So I think I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank all of you. I've learned a lot. And I look forward to coming to Jordan, actually.
Yeah, we're looking forward.
Thank you very much.